and you end up at Heartlight. What was going on that got you here?
Well, I move around a lot for my dad's work. I spent freshman year in Pennsylvania, sophomore year in New Jersey, junior year in New York, and because of all the change, I felt like I didn't have a lot of consistency, and I had a lot of family problems, and I just got in with the wrong crowd when I moved to New York.
Okay, like family problems. When you say family, what's that?
I never really had a relationship with my dad at all.
Yeah.
He was physically abusive, verbally abusive, and my parents have gotten divorced, remarried, separated, gotten back together. So it's just kind of been a really...
But they're in a good spot now?
They're in a good spot now, yeah,
Cool.
for the first time in years.
Your dad is funny, and your mom sounds like Minnie Mouse. I mean, it just is, people struggle through things, and it's kind of neat. Watching them, and how they talked about you this past weekend. We had a parent weekend here. I sat there and I thought, I like this family. I really like this family. But it was so cool. Okay, so family problems like that. So how did that affect you?
The things with my dad hurt me a lot just because I felt like growing up I didn't really have a lot of confidence or self-esteem. And I kind of got walked all over and did things that weren't respecting myself.
Really? Like?
I would be with a lot of guys. I would be with girls. I'd be drinking, doing drugs. I just wasn't respecting my body or valuing myself enough to make good decisions.
Remember when you were doing all that and you get up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror and you kind of go, what was going through your head? Just
who am I anymore? I would remember being little and just be I'm never doing drugs, I'm never drinking, I'm never gonna kiss a boy, and then I just think about it and I'm like, what happened? When did everything change?
Yeah. When did it change?
Probably when I was 12, 13. That's when I started to realize I was just getting in. I was attracted to the wrong kinds of people.
Yeah.
It wasn't even I was doing bad stuff then, but I was just attracted to people who were doing wrong things.
Why is that?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
Was it excitement? Was it they were more free and easy? They were kinder? I liked that I wasn't judged. I could never be better or worse than them. And so, because I was always very judged at home. And so that's kind of an interesting, when you think about it, that you want to be around people where you're not judged all the time. You know what? I feel the same way today. It really is. I don't think anybody likes to be around people who are judging them.
Yeah.
But so you just get to experience what all the rest of us already know. So that's kind of interesting why the movement toward this group. Wow. Okay, so what kind of set it off that finally somebody said, okay, we're doing something, we're not living like this anymore?
Well, this past April 10th, I had a really bad suicide attempt, and I almost didn't make it. I was in a coma for 2 days, and I was in the ICU for a week, and I couldn't walk at first, and they thought I was just going to be a vegetable.
Okay, what was leading up to that?
So I was at boarding school, a normal school, boarding school junior year. I was there for a semester, and my mom, on Christmas Eve, my dad got kicked out, and Christmas Day, and my mom said, Annalisa, I'm not going to have him home for, we're probably going to get divorced, please come home, and it'll just be me, you, and the kids, it'll be great. And so I was okay, so I moved back home. 2 weeks later, my mom lets my dad move back in. And so just from there, it was just a downward spiral, and I got involved in a lot of drugs that I wasn't on before, and I was in a really unhealthy relationship. And
you think that, just the unhealthiness and that you weren't thinking straight, and was the idea of suicide, this is the only way out to stop all this?
Yeah, it was just honestly, at that point, the only reason I hadn't committed suicide was because I was so scared to go to hell. But at that point, I was I don't even care if I go to hell, I just can't be here anymore.
Wow. So you come to Heartlight. Okay, now when you think back on that time, isn't it kind of funny, well, maybe that's not the right word, that you ended up in a place that you never wanted to go, and you were doing all the stuff you didn't want to do to go someplace that you never thought you'd end up? You kind of go, that's kind of weird. There's a scripture that I'm always thinking of that says, the very things I want to do, I have the hardest time doing, and the things I don't want to do, I find myself doing. And I go,
That's kind of like what was happening, you know? So when you think back on it from this perspective, looking back, what goes through your head?
I'd say I wake up probably every day, and I'm just like, how did I get here? Because it's still such a shock to me, and to be honest, we had parent retreat this weekend, and I'd say before that, I was really bitter about being here.
Yeah.
Really bitter. I hadn't seen my dad. I didn't see him on Christmas break, didn't see him on Thanksgiving. Like, I hadn't seen my dad in 4 months. I hadn't talked to him in about 6.
Yeah.
And I saw him for the first time this weekend, and he has changed so much. And, like, I've never seen him be that kind, that gentle. Like, it was just insane. I felt like I was talking to a different person.
You think he had a rotten relationship with his dad?
Oh, he did. His dad abused him.
And you think his dad had a rotten relationship with his dad?
He did.
Yeah. And if you kind of look at it that way, and so it kind of carries that thing. I know your dad, because I spend so much time talking to everybody, but I mean, he was just like soaking it up like a sponge.
Yeah.
And I go, that's pretty cool.
He said to me, he's like, Annalisa, after this weekend, I figured out I did everything backwards. He's like, everything they told me to do, I did the opposite.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's laughing about it a little bit, that's even better. You know, because I think you look at it, and when somebody starts to admit, man, I've made some mistakes. I did it wrong. I didn't do it right. I need to do it different. You know, that's the first step, I think, that any parent makes toward improving their relationship with their child, because it takes the burden off of you. You're not nearly as messed up as you thought you were. You got there because of some other reasons. And so now, with everybody working on those things, you know, hopefully we'll be able to guarantee that it's a great future for you when you go home.
I hope so.
So, hey, thanks for being a part of the program.
Yeah,
Thanks
no
for sharing your hard stuff. This is good. This is really good.
You might be listening today wondering how you can help. When they feel like they're drowning, moms and dads often find the Heartlight Foundation to be a lifeline. The Heartlight Foundation is a non-profit organization funding ministries of compassion and advice to parents. Go online to parentingtodaysteens.org and click on the Donate Now button. That's at parentingtodaysteens.org.
Mark, I laughed when Annalisa told you a moment ago that her dad figured out that he was doing everything wrong, just the opposite of what he was supposed to do.
You know, and what he's doing? He's moving toward her relationally.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the light comes on. I mean, with most parents, when they go, it's not working this way, so maybe I ought to try something different.
You think?
To get to a different place. And because here's the thing, some of the ways that my dad raised us could be considered abuse today, and it would be supported by the court system.
Yeah.
And so kids are hearing all that, and they go, well, if you raise your voice, if you demean me, if you mock me, if you try to correct me, those kind of things, then you're in the wrong. I had a little girl come up to me and say, Mark, you can't tell me what to do with my body. It's my body. And I said, well, sweetheart, I just want good things for you. Well, no, it's my body. I can have sex if I want. My parents try to control me. They can't. Why is it any of their business? And I sat there and I thought, the world's changing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kids are looking at things different, responding differently, and you kind of go, wow, this is just something that is far out of left field for me, because I was raised where you never talk back, you never question, you did whatever. I mean, when I'd get whacked by my dad, you just kind of go, well, that's how it's supposed to be.
No.
You try to do that now,
Right.
and children will come back and say, I'm suing you. Yeah, I mean, so...
There are some times when parents need to exercise authority, so what's your advice in that situation?
Well, how you exercise your authority makes all the difference in the world. I mean, sometimes, there's a scripture that says that a gentle answer turns away wrath. Well, a gentle question does that as well. I mean, so it's with humility and kindness that we move toward people. Most people forget and hardly realize that humility is one of the strongest positions to ever take. It's that of a servant when you move towards somebody. And anybody who feels like you're serving them will listen a little bit better than this authoritative dictatorship that comes across sometimes. And it doesn't mean we don't stand for what we believe is true, nor that we don't have authority as a parent. It just means I'm engaging different so that a child will respond to me.
So you play the relationship card every time.
Absolutely. I entice, I entreat, I'm encouraging my child to walk this path, and I reward them for walking that path, because they're just not going to do it on their own because they respect me. So I move toward them relationally. I've got a donkey. I mean, anybody who visits my house.
You have a donkey.
I have a donkey, and it watches over the 2 llamas that I've got. And
you have 2 llamas.
I have 2 llamas. And people say, well, why do you have so many animals? I always wanted to be a vet. Now that I have all the animals,
You are.
I'm glad that I never became
Oh,
one,
I see, okay.
But I still have to take care of them. But my donkey, she is the sweetest little thing. And it's amazing, but for me to get her to do anything, I've got to treat her. I can yank and pull and do whatever.